Welcome back. We have a very interesting guest with us now. Enzo Lombard sounds like he's done very, very many things, and they're wrapped together in a show now that has an intriguing title, Love, Humiliation, and Karaoke. All right, let's jump in right there. What is the show about?
It is basically a bunch of monologues and a collection of stories from my life. And it's largely around how I was trying to create a gay marriage play for general consumption. And the reason I came up with Love, Humiliation, and Karaoke is because I was at the Mint here in San Francisco.
Our viewers know that, yeah.
And I remembered thinking, everyone gets up there thinking they're going to have that Susan Boyle moment we can say now. I never had a word for it before.
True, yeah.
Everyone thinks they're going to get that Susan Boyle moment. Most people don't. And yet they come back. And there's something kind of simultaneously beautiful and tragic about that. And I thought, so many of us try for love and we risk humiliation each time, and a lot of times we just wind up with humiliation. So I remember thinking,
now I'm seeing how the three words tie together.
Well, my mother was also the first karaoke hostess in America, and so there's a little bit of that in the background. So there's.
How do you mean the first?
She was the first white woman to embrace karaoke. Basically, she was too difficult to get musicians to work with her, and she realized that she could make a lot more money if she used these backing tracks from Japan with this word no one had heard of. But she started that back in the 80s, but then as it became more popular, she became more.
Now it's an industry in itself, right?
It's an industry, yes.
Have you been back to the Mint since that experience?
Yes.
And given them credit for that, I'm sure, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
All right, so you have a show coming up that you're going to launch here in San Francisco. It's the first time people will see it?
No, it's not. It ran for 6 months at the Stageworks, and then I was asked to New York City for the Midtown International Theater Festival in July, and so I needed to create an even shorter version of it that's more kind of concise and fast-moving to fit into the festival format. And so I decided I would do a few more shows here in San Francisco before I left.
With the tightened version of it.
With the tightened version of it.
So
firm, tightened, and toned.
There's 3 more words for it, right? Okay, great. So it sounds personal, but is it all comedy? Are there
I would say it's definitely a lot funnier than most plays are. In fact, some of the theatrical audiences in their 40s and 50s, I feel like they might keel. It's definitely, the rhythm is almost as fast as stand-up, although it's not stand-up. I did a little bit of stand-up for 2 years to get that, the formula of how to write that
And you mentioned you'd done street performing at one time, too, so that's a great place to learn. You know, they're not going to pay attention for long.
Pull it out of your, Yeah,
good. Well, excellent. Is there music involved? Or
Yes, I was a professional singer. That was pretty much my whole life, and I didn't like the distance of sort of I'm singing and you're watching, but I had seen, I lived above the theater that Sandra Bernhard did Without You I'm Nothing when it was off Broadway, and I thought, even though she's not the greatest singer, the something about the stories and the songs mixed together really moved me, and I thought, I'd totally do this. It took me 20 years to write it, but that's what I imagined.
Now, you started by saying you wanted to write a play about gay marriage. Why was that on your mind?
I'm married. I met a man when I was quite young that was in a monogamous relationship with a guy he'd met in high school in the middle of nowhere in California, and they'd lived in San Francisco. And I remembered thinking, wow, this challenges everything I thought I knew leading up to this point. Those people change what people believe is possible, and I think the whole theme of my show is, how do you believe in something that you have no evidence to support? And I'm in a fantastic, I'm crazy about my husband. I've been married for 10 years, a little over 10 years. And everything in the world was stacked against us in terms of just the things you say, well, I'm never gonna date somebody like this, or that we all have those lists. So I think I would say it's a comedy that also really hits people between the eyes about certain truths we have about intimacy. And they really go, even though it's written for a gay audience, definitely it's very relatable to people that aren't
It leaves
gay.
you with a hopeful note, it sounds like. Good.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you for being on the program.
Thank you
we
so
look forward
much.
to seeing it. Thanks.
Thank you.